Muallim Naci, literally Naci the Teacher, was a Turkish writer, poet, teacher and critic. He lived during the reform-oriented Tanzimat period of the Ottoman Empire and advocated modernization without breaking ties with the old. He contributed in criticisms about both the prose and the poetry, and acquired a special place in the Turkish literature and society by studying problems and providing ideas that would affect the Turkish people. His work Lugat-i Nâcî, an Ottoman-Turkish dictionary, is of major importance. Life. He was born at Saraç Nabasi quarter of Fatih district, Istanbul in 1850. His real name was Omar. His father Ali Bey was a master saddler by profession. His mother Zehra Fatma Hanım was the daughter of an immigrant family from Varna. He started primary school in Istanbul. After his father's death, while 7 years old, he went to Varna to live with his uncle. Since there was no opportunity to pursue a regular educational path, he tried to close the gap by taking various courses. He learned Arabic and Persian. After working on calligraphy and memorizing of the Quran, he taught at Varna's Rustiya. In those years, he chose Naci as pen name, and made some attempts in poetry. After meeting with Mutasarrif Süleymani Ali Mehmet Said Pasha, he left the teaching that continued for 10 years, and became Pasha's private khatib. He traveled a lot in Rumelia and Anatolia. In 1881, he went to Chios with Mehmet Pasha. There he started writing poems and sent some to Turkmen-i Hakikat, Kuzu of 1881, Nasib and Savrinda Burvadi of 1882, Dikil of 1883. After returning to Istanbul, he worked in the foreign ministry. When Mehmed Said Pasha was assigned to Berlin, Naci rejected the offer to go with him and he continued to serve in the foreign ministry. Shortly after he resigned from the civil service and began his career in journalism. Proposed by Ahmet Mithat Efendi, Naci became editor-in-chief of Turkmen-i Hakikat. In 1884, he married to Medya Hanım, the daughter of Ahmet Mithat. After his promotion, he was engaged in learning French, which he succeeded in a short time. Some of his poems got fame because of the French translations. At His Pair was the first book of poetry, which was published in Istanbul, followed by Sparari in 1884. On November 23, 1885, İmacul in Mithat poem was published. This poem became the first in Turkish literature to talk about the rural village life. He continued with 2 other books of poetry, Farazan and Sunbul. Hamiyet Yafhut Masa bin Ebil Ghazan that followed presented the memories of the tragedy of his childhood. It was translated and published in German in 1898 and in Russian in 1914. Meanwhile, he taught language and literature in civil and law schools. Between the years 1887 to 1888, he issued Memuar-i Muallim, a weekly magazine, which continued for 58 issues. In 1891, he began to work on his best-known work Lugat-i Nâcî, a dictionary of Turkish language. With Naci's death in 1894, İsmet Mustakabasa, a friend of his, finished the work. Muallim Naci was an innovator in Ottoman-Turkish poetry. It was in favor of breaking the bonds of the old styles, and had many followers, among others Yahya Kemal. Naci criticized the lack of realistic literature of his time. He advocated Turkish languages. He endeavored to write simple, select and use old words which are placed colloquially to create harmony. Trivia. Muallim Naci was the first Turkish poet to use the phrase, "I am a Turk," in a poem. He received the title, Tari Nüvus-i Sultan-i Ali Osman, from the Sultan. Some schools in Turkey bear his name.